The Saturday afternoon farmers' market buzzed with laughter, music, and the smell of fresh cinnamon pastries. Emma balanced 2 paper cups of coffee while weaving through the crowd, trying not to spill a drop. She spotted her best friend, Ryan, standing near a flower stall, arguing with an elderly vendor over which sunflower bouquet looked more cheerful. She smiled without realizing it. Ryan had been her best friend since freshman year of college. For 5 years they had celebrated birthdays together, survived terrible jobs, comforted each other after heartbreaks, and spent nearly every weekend exploring somewhere new. Everyone assumed they were dating. Everyone except them. As Emma reached him, the flower vendor looked up with a grin. "So," the old woman asked, "how long have you two been together?" Ryan opened his mouth to explain, but Emma laughed first. "Oh, we're basically a married couple without the paperwork." She meant it as a joke. Ryan chuckled awkwardly. But before either of them could say another word, a high-pitched squeal erupted behind them. "Oh my gosh!" Finally. Emma turned to see their mutual friend, Lily, practically bouncing with excitement. "I've been waiting years for this," Lily cried, throwing her hands into the air. "You finally admitted you're together." Emma blinked. "What? No, I was joking, you literally called yourselves a married couple." Lily interrupted, already pulling out her phone. "I'm texting everyone." "Lily, don't, too late." Within seconds, their friends' group chat exploded. "About time. I knew it. When's the wedding?" Ryan rubbed the back of his neck, trying, and failing, not to smile. Emma groaned. "This is going to be impossible to fix." Ryan looked at her. "Maybe we should just let them think it for today." "What?" "It'll save us 20 explanations." Emma hesitated. "I guess." The decision lasted exactly 4 minutes. Because suddenly strangers smiled warmly at them. A little girl handed them matching balloons because they were the cutest couple. A photographer at the market asked if they wanted a free couple portrait for his portfolio. Ryan instinctively wrapped an arm around Emma's shoulders for the picture. Neither of them moved away. Instead, Emma leaned in naturally. Click. The camera captured something neither of them expected. They looked happy. Not pretending. Just comfortable. As they continued walking, Ryan absent-mindedly reached for her hand to guide her through the crowd. Emma froze. Their fingers intertwined effortlessly. Neither mentioned it. Neither let go. For the first time, silence between them felt different. Warmer. More meaningful. They found an empty bench overlooking the river. Emma stared at their joined hands. "When did this become normal?" she asked softly. Ryan looked down too. "I don't know." After a long pause, he smiled. "Maybe it always was." Emma laughed quietly. "You realize everyone's going to think we're dating forever now." Ryan shrugged. "I've survived worse rumors." She nudged his shoulder playfully. "Oh really?" "Yeah." He looked out at the water before speaking again. "But this one doesn't bother me." Emma's heart skipped. She turned toward him. "What do you mean?" Ryan took a deep breath. "You know, every time someone asked if we were together, I'd always say no." "I know. But every single time." He smiled sheepishly. "A tiny part of me wished I didn't have to." Emma stared. The world around her seemed to fade. The music. The conversations. Even the river. All she could hear was her heartbeat. "You." "What?" Ryan laughed nervously. "I guess I got used to hiding it." "Hiding what?" "That I've been in love with you for almost 2 years." Emma couldn't speak. Every memory suddenly made sense. The late-night phone calls. The way he remembered every tiny detail about her. How he always walked on the traffic side of the sidewalk. How no one else had ever felt as safe as he did. Tears gathered in her eyes. "You idiot." Ryan winced. "Yeah. I probably deserve that." She shook her head, laughing through the tears. "No." She squeezed his hand tighter. "You're an idiot because I've been waiting for you to say that." Ryan blinked. "You have? I fell for you ages ago." His eyes widened. "You never said anything. You dated someone else." "You dated someone too." They stared at each other. Then both burst into laughter. 5 years of perfect timing ruined by terrible timing. Ryan smiled. So, does this mean we're actually a couple now?" Emma grinned. "I guess my joke accidentally became the truth." Ryan stood and held out his hand dramatically. "Then, Miss Fake Wife." She laughed. "Would you like to make it official with dinner tonight?" Emma slipped her hand into his. "I'd love to." Behind them, Lily secretly snapped another picture. This time, no pretending was necessary. Because sometimes the funniest joke says exactly what two hearts have been trying to admit all along. The evening sky glowed with streaks of orange and purple as Emma stood in front of her apartment mirror for what felt like the 10th time. She had changed outfits 3 times already. Tonight wasn't just dinner with Ryan. It was their first real date after years of pretending they were just friends. Somehow, that made her more nervous than any first date she'd ever been on. A soft knock came at the door. When Emma opened it, Ryan stood there holding a small bouquet of white daisies. They weren't expensive roses or flashy flowers, just simple daisies, her favorites. Years ago, during one of their long conversations, she had casually mentioned that daisies reminded her of peaceful summer afternoons. Ryan had remembered. "You remembered," she whispered. "I remember everything you tell me," he replied with a shy smile. Emma felt her heart melt all over again. Dinner was at a cozy Italian restaurant overlooking the river. The hostess welcomed them with a warm smile. "Table for 2? Happy anniversary?" Both of them laughed. "Actually," Ryan said, glancing at Emma, "it's our first official date." The hostess's eyes sparkled. "Those are even more special." As they sat down, the atmosphere felt strangely familiar and completely new at the same time. They already knew each other's favorite meals, embarrassing childhood stories, biggest dreams, and deepest fears. Yet every glance across the table carried a nervous excitement neither had experienced before. "So," Emma teased, "what do people even talk about on first dates?" Ryan chuckled. "I have no idea. We've already covered the usual questions years ago. Favorite color? Blue. Favorite movie? You already make fun of my answer." She laughed. "Still, Back to the Future? Always." Their laughter filled the small corner of the restaurant, drawing smiles from nearby diners. After dinner they decided to walk along the riverside promenade. A cool breeze rustled through the trees while city lights reflected on the calm water. Ryan suddenly slowed down. "Can I tell you something?" Emma nodded. "I was terrified today." "You? Mr. Confident?" "I wasn't confident." He laughed softly. "I kept thinking. What if dating changes everything? What if we lose the friendship we've built for 5 years?" Emma stopped walking. She gently took both of his hands. "Ryan." He looked into her eyes. "We're not losing our friendship. We're not." She smiled. "No. We're building on it." He frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" "Our friendship is the reason this feels so right. We already trust each other. We already know how to communicate. We already know how to make each other laugh." She stepped a little closer. The only thing changing is that now I don't have to pretend I don't want to kiss you. Ryan blinked in surprise. You've been thinking about kissing me? 4 months. I've been thinking about it for 2 years. Emma laughed. What were we doing all this time? Being spectacularly oblivious. The distance between them disappeared naturally. Ryan slowly lifted a hand and brushed a loose strand of hair behind Emma's ear. If you're still okay with this. Emma answered by closing the remaining gap. Their first kiss was gentle, unhurried, and filled with years of unspoken feelings. It wasn't dramatic or perfect. They both smiled halfway through, making each other laugh before kissing again. When they finally pulled apart, Ryan rested his forehead against hers. That was worth the wait. Emma grinned. The very long wait. At that exact moment, applause erupted nearby. Startled, they turned to find Lily standing several feet away with 3 of their closest friends, all carrying shopping bags from the evening market. Lily clapped enthusiastically. I knew it, she shouted. I told everyone tonight was the night. Emma covered her face in embarrassment while Ryan laughed helplessly. You were spying on us? No, Lily said innocently. We were walking by, and then we saw the kiss. One friend held up the group chat. I guess we can finally remove the quotation marks around couple. Ryan looked at Emma, still smiling. So. I guess the whole city knows now. Emma intertwined her fingers with his. Good. He raised an eyebrow. No more pretending? She shook her head. No more pretending. As they walked home hand in hand beneath the glowing streetlights, both realized something beautiful. The strongest love stories don't always begin with fireworks or grand confessions. Sometimes, they begin with years of friendship, one careless joke, and 2 hearts finally finding the courage to admit what had been true all along. The weeks that followed felt like stepping into a dream neither Emma nor Ryan wanted to wake from. Surprisingly, becoming a couple didn't make things awkward, it made everything easier. They still teased each other over burnt pancakes on Sunday mornings, argued playfully about movie choices, and challenged one another during board game nights. The only difference was that now they held hands without thinking, stole quick kisses when no one was looking, and no longer had to hide the smiles that appeared whenever the other walked into the room. Their friends claimed they had always acted like a married couple. Emma and Ryan couldn't even argue with that anymore. One Friday evening, the group gathered at Lily's apartment for game night. As soon as Emma and Ryan walked in together, Lily pointed dramatically toward them. There they are, the slowest love story in human history. Everyone laughed. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Slow? We only took 5 years. Exactly, one friend replied. Most people figure it out in 5 weeks. Emma laughed so hard she nearly spilled her drink. Later that evening, while everyone else argued over the rules of a card game, Lily quietly pulled Emma aside. Can I ask you something? Emma nodded. Do you know why I screamed that day at the farmer's market? I assumed because you're dramatic. I am, Lily admitted with a grin. But that's not the real reason. Emma looked curious. Lily smiled warmly. Because Ryan came to me almost a year ago. Emma blinked. What? He asked me if I thought you could ever love him the way he loved you. Emma felt her chest tighten. He asked you that? Lily nodded. He was terrified of losing your friendship. He said he'd rather stay your best friend forever than risk never seeing you again. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I told him to be patient, Lily continued. But honestly, after watching both of you dance around your feelings for years, I was running out of patience myself. Emma laughed through her tears. So, your little outburst wasn't completely accidental? Lily winked. Let's just say. When you joked about being a couple, I decided fate needed a tiny push. Emma shook her head, unable to stop smiling. You sneaky little matchmaker. Guilty. Across the room, Ryan looked over, noticing Emma's teary eyes. Concern immediately crossed his face as he walked toward her. Everything okay? Emma didn't answer with words. Instead, she wrapped her arms around him in a tight hug. Ryan hugged her back instantly. What happened? She looked up at him, smiling. I just found out how brave you really were. Ryan glanced at Lily. You told her? Lily raised both hands. I only told the truth. Ryan sighed dramatically. There goes my mysterious image. Emma laughed. You were never mysterious. No? You leave encouraging notes inside library books because you think strangers might need them. Ryan looked embarrassed. You knew about that? I found one 3 years ago. You never said anything. I wanted to see if you'd keep doing it. He smiled sheepishly. I never stopped. Emma realized that wasn't just who Ryan had been as her best friend, it was who he was as a person. Kind. Patient. Quietly thoughtful. The qualities that had made her trust him had also made her fall in love with him. A month later, they returned to the same farmer's market where everything had changed. The elderly flower vendor recognized them immediately. I knew it, she exclaimed happily. You're really together now. Ryan laughed. You were right before we were. The woman handed Emma a fresh sunflower. No charge, she said. Every good love story deserves flowers. As they walked away, Emma looked at Ryan with a smile. Funny, isn't it? What is? It all started because I made one silly joke. Ryan shook his head gently. No. He stopped walking and took both of her hands. It started years before that. She tilted her head. The joke didn't create our love, he said softly. It simply gave us the courage to admit it. Emma smiled, her eyes shining. And I'm never letting you go. Ryan kissed her forehead. You'll never have to. Hand in hand, they continued through the market, laughing about the day that had accidentally changed their lives forever. Sometimes, love isn't about finding the perfect stranger. Sometimes, it's realizing that the person you've been searching for has been walking beside you all along, and all it takes is one unexpected moment to turn years of friendship into a lifetime of love.